Welcome to the Fermented Homestead. If you're new here, my name is Anna, and on this channel, I'm sharing our journey of learning how to turn our home into a homestead. Today, we are going to be making some candied ginger, and this is the first time that I've made it. I wanted to bring you along and kind of show you my learning process of trying to figure out how to make this stuff. So, I am one of those people that likes things to be pretty spicy. I've seen a few different recipes done a few different ways. Some of them say to cook it for a really long time. Some say to cook it for short periods of time and just drain the water and do that repeatedly to get rid of some of the spice to it. I'm thinking I'm probably going to kind of go in the middle of that, and I'm going to cook it for kind of a slightly shorter period of time, and just to make sure that it's soft enough so it's going to be kind of chewy. It's not going to be super crunchy, but I don't want to lose a lot of the kick to it. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting here, kind of sort of follow recipes, but overall just going to kind of make it up as we go. So I got some ginger tea going over here already. Got that stuff going. So what we're going to do first is we're just going to go ahead and peel the ginger that I do have for this. And I'll bring you in and kind of show you what I'm doing with that. So we have these big giant chunks of ginger. I don't think I need all of this ginger. But so basically what I'm going to do is I just have the bowl here to catch the peels, and we're just going to peel it with a spoon. That's the best way I've seen to do it, where you lose the least amount of it and it kind of just takes off. Basically just the peel, maybe a little bit extra. It's a lot easier. You don't have to worry about cutting your knuckles, and yeah. I just like this way of peeling it. So now that we have the ginger all peeled, what we're going to do is we're going to cut it into little bitty pieces. And we want to make sure that we're cutting against the grain so it doesn't get really stringy. So basically you can see in this piece, because this piece is a little bit stringier, but the lines run this way. Ginger is very fibrous, especially the older it is, the more fibrous it's going to be, and this stuff is kind of old. You definitely want to have fresh stuff for the best results, but this is what I have and I'm going to use it. So you can kind of see here that the fibers run this direction. So we're going to cut it this way to make sure that, so the fibers are going to be really, really short. So it's going to be a lot easier to get it to be nice and soft and just a more of a pleasant texture. Okay, so you can see that's about how much ginger we have. And we're going to go ahead and add in we'll just go with 2 cups. 2 cups of water. And we're going to bring this up to a boil, and we're going to let it simmer until it gets nice and soft. It's probably going to be anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes, and then we're just going to pull it. This cooked for probably about 20 minutes. I did some recording and forgot. I guess I didn't hit the record button. So all I did was I let it cook for that full amount of time. It was probably about 20 minutes or so, and then I added in. I didn't remove any of the water or anything, and all I did was add 1 cup of sugar. And we're gonna go ahead and a pinch of salt. So we're gonna go ahead and let this come up to like a heavy simmer, and we're going to let it simmer until it reduces enough to become a thick liquid. Okay, so that is done. Totally done. You can see it's just a thick liquid. And these are ready for the next step. The next step for this, I just have a basic like, 9x13 pan. And all I'm gonna do is just take the ginger out and put it on. This is just layered with a bunch of sugar. My goodness, maybe I let it go a little too long. I think I did. Yep, don't let it go that long. Gotta move quick. Shoot, I was hoping to have some leftover syrup from my husband. Yeah. And so you want to just bear in mind, this is extremely hot. This is like hotter than boiling water, and it will burn through you. I still have a scar right here from one time when I was making some jam. It's bad. So, and also when it's this hot, you want to make sure you're moving quick because it cools off really quick and it solidifies really quick. So now I'm gonna let this cool off for just a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna try my best to get this stuff buried in the sugar, because we're gonna let this settle overnight in the sugar. Not settle, but we're gonna let it rest overnight in the sugar, and the sugar is gonna draw out a lot of the moisture from the ginger, and it's going to basically just kind of make it shelf stable, and it's gonna make it hard, and like I said, just pull out a lot of the moisture from the ginger. So that'll be the candied ginger. Also, just another tip, if you are not used to making like these kinds of really thick syrups with sugar and things like that, the one thing that you want to make sure that you do is to get the sugar out of it as quickly as possible. You want to put it, so basically you want to put it under hot running water and get that sugar, get the sugar water mixture, get the syrup out of the pan as quickly as possible, because it's gonna be really hard to get out if you let it solidify in there. It's a hard candy. It is really difficult to get off. You can get it off by boiling water inside of it. Usually you can get it out, but I mean, why bother when you can just put it in the hot water right away and it will get it out. So just a little side note there for you. So we're back. It is the next day and our candied ginger is all ready to go. And we're gonna go ahead and give this a little bit of a taste test. You can kind of see, I mean, it looks pretty similar, almost exactly like it did yesterday. I went ahead and used some like organic, the Costco organic sugar. You can use probably whatever you normally use. This is just the first time I've used it, and that's the sugar I had on hand, so that's what I used. So time to go ahead and do a taste test here. That is really, really good. Oh my gosh. Robert, you want to try this? You want to try it?
Yeah, sure, I'll try.
It's good, isn't it?
Wow.
I like
It's
that.
like the stuff that you eat when you're a kid. You sneak into school under the desk, and teacher's not looking, you take it out. That ginger candy stuff.
I never liked
just
it.
like that.
Yeah.
Except better.
Good. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, originally I thought that I had overcooked it last night and it had cooked it in the saucepan in the simple syrup for too long and it let it reduce too much. But this is some really good stuff. As you can see, he's dancing over here. So This is really good, and you can process it for various amounts of times, however you want to do it. If you want it to be a little more of like a ginger texture, it's got some heat to it still. The way that I did it, if you don't want it to be quite,
I like it with the heat.
Yeah, me too. We both like heat a lot.
Yes.
So if you don't want it to be quite as much heat to it, you can dump off the water, and you can do that a couple of different times and use fresh water instead of using the ginger tea mixture that was left over in the beginning parts. And you can do it that way. You know, I think that's probably about the only way that you can really cut the heat, is just kind of boiling off and dumping it and boiling it and dumping it. There's a video by, I think it was Prep Setters that I watched, and that's how she did it. She bring it up to a boil and dump it off, and then put more water in it and bring it up to boil and dump it off. And I think she did it 4 separate times. And but I wanted to retain the heat because I really like the heat. This is really good stuff. I've never actually had a candied ginger that I liked, but this stuff is really good. It is kind of sweet. You could probably hear it's crunchy, and it has a really good kick to it, a really good bite to it, and it's just delicious. I'm not entirely certain how much of the benefits of ginger are actually left over in this, but I'm sure it has at least some of it, because it also has the sugar to it, so it's going to kind of counteract the benefits of the ginger a little bit. But if you just want a little bit of sweet, a little bit of heat, this is definitely, as you can see, this is what you want to give a try. And it's super easy. It's very simple. I've never tried it before. I've never even thought about trying it before until I had a bunch of extra ginger on hand and wanted to go ahead and give it a try. So I definitely recommend this. This is an awesome, awesome recipe. I recommend you cook it for a long time to get it to be that hard candy stage. And it is just, it's delicious. It's not stringy. It doesn't even have the texture of ginger. It has the flavor of ginger, and it's just, it's delicious. So I recommend you try this. Let me know if you do, or if you have your own way of making candied ginger. Be sure to go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to this channel for more videos around the kitchen and around the homestead, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh, one other thing that I forgot to mention. With this, I'm just gonna go ahead and take a slotted spoon and kind of shake off the sugar and put it in a drum.
You gotta tell them you cooked it for a long time so it's not stringy.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, showed them all last night.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Did a whole video after you went to bed.
I'll be taking some of that candy while you sleep.
Yeah.
Drinking some coffee with it.
Oh yeah, and this would be really good to add to tea. This would, as a flavoring, this would be, you know, just has all the benefits of ginger, you know, to some degree. Like I said, I don't know how much of it is negated by the sugar, but it's anti-inflammatory. It's a warming food, so if you're feeling cold, or if you're not having, you know, good, you know, circulation, things like that, it'd be really good for that. Sore throat would be good for that. It'd be really good if you are nauseous, maybe you're pregnant, you have some morning sickness, and you're in a place where you can't really bring ginger tea with you. You could totally bring like a Ziploc baggie full of this stuff. And normally I would go ahead and grab another jar, but I know he's probably going to eat enough of this to negate my need for an extra jar. So I'm just going to pile it on up here and let him dig in all night long. So this is really all I'm going to do with it. And I'm going to set aside the sugar so that I can use this next time I make ginger, the candied ginger, which probably will be very soon. And so I'm just going to set it aside. I'm going to go ahead and put it in a Ziploc and put it in the cupboard for, I'm pretty sure it would be cupboard stable. I don't think it'd be an issue with that. If you're not comfortable with it, you can maybe put it elsewhere. I think it would probably have a moisture issue if you tried putting it in the freezer. So I'm just going to go ahead.
Put one of those dries in there.
Yep. I'm going to do that in there too. Yeah. So, but with this, it's shelf stable. I don't need to worry about it at all. But the sugar, I think, is also shelf stable. So I'm not going to worry a whole lot about it. And like I said, just store it on the pantry shelf. And I don't anticipate it'll last very long. I've heard various amounts of time that this will actually last. Some people say, you know, like a month. And some people say, you know, indefinitely. It's kind of up to your own discretion. I don't anticipate this will last as long as either of those. So, again, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.